Hello and welcome to another recap of Dungeon of the Mad Mage. And in this session, we're not in the Undermountain anymore. What? No, we're actually in Waterdeep for 1 week of downtime. So if you recall in the last session, we were on the 10th floor. We managed to defeat Morale, who was the kind of boss of that floor, and then we were kind of looking around afterwards, just kind of looking for loot and things, and we ended up instead finding a portal which went all the way to the first floor of the dungeon. And then we were like, well, let's just take a quick trip to the first floor of the dungeon and then out into Waterdeep, and that's what we did. So basically the DM told us between sessions, he was like, look, I don't really want to turn this into a Waterdeep based campaign, so let's just say you have 1 week of downtime. You tell me what you guys are going to do during that time, and then I'll tell you what happens, and we'll just do a bit of a quick montage at the start of the session. So that's what happened, and basically, I mean, to be honest, most of the downtime involved selling all of the stuff that we had. This stuff, to be precise. Basically, the DM just took all of that, put it into ChatGPT and said, how much would this cost? How much money would you get for this? And he came up with a number, and he said, that's how much you sell it for. And we said, thank you very much. And here is our shopping list of stuff that we want to buy. How much does that cost? And the DM said, it's this much. And, ChatGPT works really well sometimes for dungeon prep. It has a lot of limitations, but sometimes it's pretty cool. So that's what happened there. We all ended up with some extra magical stuff, obviously potions of healing. I got a sentinel shield, these sorts of things. Someone else got, Raynome, the frog boy in our party, he got some boots which basically allow him to cast Pass Without a Trace just on himself, so very stealthy shoes. Someone else, the artificer in the party, Auric, he got a silencer for his gun so that other people wouldn't be alerted whenever he fired it, because that was constantly turning into a problem, and so on and so on and so on. Tick's got some sort of sword that if he throws it, he can throw the sword and it like turns into a bird and then it comes back to his hand afterwards, something like this. Pretty cool things. And what did I get? Well, I asked the DM, look, obviously my character is all about revenge against the drow, that's all he cares about, and so I was like, he would be looking for a magical item that would give him leverage over the drow. So I said to him, in Lord of the Rings, where you've got Bilbo Baggins, he has Sting, the magical sword that glows blue whenever there are orcs around. I was like, well, something similar, but for drow, could be quite cool. Something that allows me to have the equivalent of extra damage against drow, or gives me advantage to hit drow, or something like this. He went away and he came up with something that basically means it's like a charm that I fit onto the sword, something like this. And what it means is that anytime I hit a drow with my sword, there is a chance that I will make them scared. Which, yeah, fine. It's situationally useful. To be honest with you, most drow don't survive more than a couple of hits from me, because we're getting to that sort of level now. But so, it's a bit of flavour more than anything else, and a bit of a security blanket. But if it works for drow adjacent creatures like driders and other monstrosities, hey, now we've got something quite cool. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out in the campaign. In terms of the kind of role play of things, so obviously my character is basically a sentient shield guardian. Mechanically he's Warforged, but he's a shield guardian, and so this is basically, he spent his entire life, as it were, in the Undermountain, and so this is his first time above ground, and he's suddenly seeing this like sky above his head. He's finding himself in a city with millions of people. I don't know what the population of Waterdeep is, but there's a lot of people here, and it's like this existential crisis for him, that he's suddenly like, what is this place that I'm in, He has slight agoraphobia as a result. He's just like really panicky. And then I basically said that he's kind of stumbling around, not sure what's happening. He ends up finding his way to the docks, because Waterdeep is by the coast, of course. And he looks out across this vast expanse of water, stretching as far as the eye can see. He's never seen so much water in one place. And he's like, truly, this must be heaven. This must be the home of the gods himself. For who else but the god Klabu would require this much water? And so he's fully convinced that this is the realm of Klabu, and so he prays to Klabu, and then he just wades into the water, and he sees like a dragon turtle down there and all sorts of things. Then he kind of comes back out, and upon emerging from the ocean, basically he's gathered a bit of a small crowd around him, people pointing like, look mummy, look, what's that man doing over there? And there's kind of a bit of like, because shield guardians in this world are kind of 10 a penny. They're automatons that a lot of like wizards just create to kind of help with odd tasks. So there's nothing really unusual about a shield guardian, but having a shield guardian just walk into water is kind of unusual. So I imagine that people are kind of gathered around going like, whose shield guardian is this? Who does this belong to? Of course, they then talk to me. They find out not only am I sentient, but also I've come from the Undermountain of all places. They're like, we need to get someone to look at this. And so they send me to the Harpers. So this was what I asked the DM. I was like, could I somehow get in with the Harpers? This is how it happened in the end. So they took me to the Harpers. I'm taken to the kind of ruined tower where they live, which as you get closer, it no longer looks ruined. And you go inside, met with the kind of leader. I forgot to write down the leader's name. That's my bad. And basically got adopted into the Harpers, where they were kind of very curious about me. They were kind of interviewing me, figured out, okay, this must be one of Hallister's creations. Okay, trying to get what they can from me. And in exchange, I got from them some useful things as well. So I now have a proficiency in Arcana, because I guess during that week they were like, oh yeah, these are the schools of magic, and here's some basic glyphs. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I got it. So I've now got a proficiency in Arcana, I guess. And I also got a mission, a special mission just for me, which is basically to find a goblin called Keth, who ended up going into the Undermountain towards somewhere called Tobrian's Graveyard, and they haven't heard back from him and they want to know what's happened. So that's my little mission that I've got. So basically we fast forwarded all of this. This happened in the first kind of 20-30 minutes, and then we got together again as a group and paid our 50 gold pieces each, and we descended back into the Undermountain. We found the portal again on the first floor. We went back down to where we were originally. So that's kind of how things started. And then having then ended up back on the 10th floor, it ended up being basically the first floor in the entire campaign so far that we pretty much 100%ed. I think there's only maybe a couple of rooms that we didn't go through. We went everywhere. We picked it clean. There wasn't much else, to be honest, in this place. We found a couple of other things, a couple of fights, of course, as is part of the course, and we found some drow in a room. They all were from House Ovrindar. We killed them. One of them, it turned out, was actually from House Freth, but had the House Ovrindar kind of patch on covering up the House Freth patch. So that was quite a useful find. And then we took that body of that person back with us to the priestess who kind of oversees the floor, who gave us the mission to kill Morale. And we came to her. Of course, she was quite surprised to see us because it's been a week that we've been gone. She sent us off a week ago to fight Morale. She knows that Morale is dead, but she kind of figured that we died as well. But no, here we are, suddenly appearing out of nowhere like dead people, and we're like, okay, so we're here. Hi, can you show us the way to the next floor? And she's a bit reticent at first, but then we're like, aha, look, we found this spy from House Freth. And then she's like, okay, yeah, you're quite useful. Of course, at first, she was being a bit, she was a bit offish with us, mainly because, of course, Mama Leota is now dead. So we are now a party of non-drow, and we're a party of men only. So the fact that we don't have any women or drow in the party, she kind of wasn't really interested in being friendly towards us. Not that that stopped our froggy boy, Raynolm, from trying. He decided that he was going to try and woo this lady, because that's what he does. And in last week's session, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, I ended up killing someone that he'd been trying to woo. My character killed her. And afterwards he kind of told me off, and he was like, look, you know, you can't just kill everybody that I'm interested in. Like, from now on, anytime there's someone, ask me first before you kill them. So I'm like, okay, I will, very literally. You know, after this, like, everything that we fight, I'm just like, are you romantically attracted to this giant spider? Are you romantically attracted to this snake? Are you romantically attracted to this ghost? But yeah, in this case, I was like, are you romantically attracted to this priestess? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, I won't kill her. He's like, good. And I'm like, great. And then I turned around to the priestess and I'm like, good news. This man here is romantically attracted to you. And she's just like, what? Yeah, so she showed us the stairs to the next floor. She kind of played along with it though. She was like, okay, fine. You're my fiance now. We're going to get married. And he's like, okay, cool. Great. So I'm like, yay, we're going to have a marriage between a drow priestess and a frog. That's great. So she shows us the stairs to the next floor. We descend down. We of course, long rest along the way. And then we find ourselves on the next floor, which is more kind of cavernous, a little bit more kind of natural looking. And she had already warned us that there was a House of Rindar camp near the entrance to that floor. She said that her people had been trying to kind of... Basically, the next floor down is where the fight between Ovrindar and House Freth is happening. I thought it was on level 10, but it's actually on level 11 that this fight is happening. She's sent down like 8 people who are kind of holding the stairs, as it were, and that's the floor where the battles are happening. So she told us there were going to be 8 people kind of down there. We need to kind of very quickly establish that we're from House of Rindar, it's fine, or we will get attacked. I'm like, okay, that's good to know. We're going to attack them anyway. So we went down, we found ourselves on the next floor, and very strangely, both myself and Auric, the artificer, we both felt very magically charged as we descended, like almost like there's wild magic in the air. Neither of us has enough arcane knowledge to kind of know what's going on, but we both feel very like tingly and alert, you know. And we end up down on the next floor that we don't see the drow at first. Instead, we're kind of walking along, and we end up getting ambushed. We all kind of roll stealth because we're going quietly. 2 of the people in the party rolled really well, Tix and Raynolm. They were very sneaky, but myself and Auric, we got ambushed, which is fine by me. We made very quick work of that party of drow. We defeated all 8 of them. Lovely. During the fight, Raynolm sees something quite unusual. He sees like a big snake-like creature moving really fast past him. He doesn't get a good enough look to see what it is, but there's something weird down here that isn't just drow. Apparently, as well, the other thing that we learned was that the leader of House Freth that's down on this floor is a lady called Erlal Freth. I think I've got that name right, Erlal Freth. And it's a name that my character recognizes because it's a name that was given to me by the Harpers for my quest to find Keth the Goblin. I asked the priestess about Tobrian's graveyard. She said that it was quite far down, further to go, but it seems there's still a few kind of breadcrumbs along the way for me to kind of gather and figure out what's going on. So yeah, I think that's really a good summary of everything that happens. We're now on the 11th floor, and quite excited to see what happens. Next session, we're going to meet the newest member of our party, who is going to be a tiefling. That's quite exciting. And yeah, a tiefling wizard, I think it's going to be. That's going to be fun. And yeah, we'll see what goes on from there. But until next time, thank you for watching as always. I do enjoy updating you guys on what I'm up to. It's always fun. So have a great and wonderful rest of the week. Do remember to just drop a like, favourite, subscribe, comment, all those things. And I will otherwise update you again next time. Take care. Bye.